Good morning and welcome to WrestleTrain or WrestleJunkie or WrestleTrain Express, whichever one I want to call it. My name is Micah. I am your host, and it is currently 5:58 a.m. in Florida. I just took a shower. I did my regular stuff, but I took an early rest, and then I decided, well, I'll wake up. And by I decided, I mean I didn't decide. My body just woke up and decided, yeah, you should do stuff. So I have all this extra time before I go to work, so I may as well start recording and give you guys a good show. I took a week off last week because, there was 2 shows in New Japan of New Beginning with Hiroshi Tanahashi losing the title to Minoru Suzuki, and the other show being the other New Beginning show of the Young Bucks losing their IWGP Junior Heavyweight titles to Roppongi 3K, and Kenny Omega losing his IWGP United States title to Jay White, and then the whole distinction between Bullet Club coming to a full. Then we also had the Royal Rumble where Shinsuke Nakamura won and Asuka won, as well as we had Ronda Rousey show up. Then we had a Raw, a SmackDown, a 205 Live, and NXT. It was a lot of wrestling. So I just took a week off because it was just so much at one time that I couldn't just do alone. So I'm just going to throw them in here. I'm sure if you're watching, you probably are a wrestling fan. And if you are watching, well, I just gave you a quick recap. If you hear some random noises in the background, that's the cats. Tommy right now keeps rubbing against me because when I'm awake, he usually gets fed. And Marvel's still in her cage because, well, we need her to be in her cage. But that's enough about that. It's time for this. Daniel Bryan's with me, so let's do this. WrestleTrain Express. Here we go. Once again, my name is Micah. You can follow me on Twitter at Micah Kool-Aid, and I'm here to give you a good show. So this is for Raw, February 5th, 2018. The show opens with the commentators talking about Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns, and a promo exchange happens between the two via video. Bray does a promo which is actually makes sense. He talks about how he won his biggest accomplishment ever last year at the Elimination Chamber when he won the WWE title at it, and then he subsequently had a very low par match at WrestleMania against Randy Orton, and then he had a terrible segment in the House of Horrors match. But we don't talk about that. And he doesn't care who his opponent is. Him and Roman have been nemesis for a long time, and that tonight it's just another match for him. And he's gonna beat Roman. He's gonna go to Elimination Chamber to win, and then go on to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Roman had a similar promo where he said it doesn't matter what happens and who he fights, he's going to win. He's going to go to WrestleMania and win the Universal title. The promos were very good. In particular for me, Bray Wyatt. I enjoy Bray Wyatt, and I think they should really put a lot of stock into him, but they don't. His promo actually for once made sense in a long time, and I was super happy about it. So I hope that 2018 is the year for Bray Wyatt. So right after these promos, which are only just a couple of minutes, Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns Elimination Chamber qualifier. At the beginning, it was standard headlocks from Bray, and Roman kept trying to get the offense in, eventually going for a drive-by dropkick on the apron, but Bray does this sick rise up and clothesline to Roman that knocks him out to the floor. As we go to commercial break, we're back from break. Roman tries for a Superman punch, and Bray counters it into a Uranagi, then into a running senton for a 2 count, which Roman obviously kicks out, but he does a Superman punch shortly after that for 2. They exchange a bit. Very, very clear that they've had multiple matches against each other, and that they know how the other works. But Bray tries to hit a Sister Abigail, and Roman gets out of it. Roman tries for a spear, but Bray catches him mid spear motion and hits a Sister Abigail. Totally, some people might think that it was through. Not me, because Roman kicks out at 2. Shortly after that, Roman picks up momentum, and Bray tries another Sister Abigail, but Roman hits a spear and qualifies for the Elimination Chamber. Good match. Bray and Roman definitely know each other. It's been a bit of time since they fought each other, and it was nice to see that they still have the groove and momentum with each other. But Roman, we all know, is the chosen one. He's going to go face Brock at WrestleMania and win the Universal title. It's written in stone. You already see it. They could throw a curveball and make probably Braun or something, but right now all signs point to Roman. Immediately after the match, though, Roman's kind of celebrating up the ramp, and out comes Matt Hardy, and everyone in the crowd is chanting delete. So Bray's standing up like he doesn't understand what's going around him, and he's like, that delete chant seems familiar. He's behind me, and he turns around, eats a twist of fate, or as I like to call it, twisted fate, because he's woken now. And that seems to be the feud for Bray. I'm pretty sure it'll happen at Elimination Chamber. And they've done a lot to really muddy up the feud between them, but it's with Raw going in a very good direction lately. I hold out hope that this Bray and Matt Hardy feud culminates in something very good for the both of them, and eventually for Bray to come out on top. Matt Hardy, Woken's character, is really good and over and whatnot, but Bray needs the momentum more. I'm very sure they're going to face at the Elimination Chamber in some sort of fashion, if not an Elimination Chamber at WrestleMania, or both, and I'm interested. After that, we have a backstage segment with Seth Rollins and asking Jason Jordan if he is capable of fighting their match tonight against The Bar, which this is their last chance to fight The Bar, is what they said multiple times in the show. Jason Jordan is assuring Seth Rollins that he's fine, he's going to win. He did his medical staff, and his neck is fine, and his body's fine, and they're going to win. Rollins says that it's not about him or Jordan, it's about them winning their tag titles, and nice. The story progression with Jason Jordan is superb, and if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you: just watch. Yeah, you thought I was gonna say something else. Just watch. And Seth Rollins is being the perfect foil, perfect kind of like big brother. It's like, come on, man, we're supposed to do this together. Mom and Dad said so. Either way, after that, the club are, sorry for that loud noise, the club come out with Finn Balor, which I'm just going to refer to them all as the club because they are a faction, I'd say, right now. And right as they come out, they get to the ring, and a Revival show up. The Rivals talk about how they're old-time wrestlers and their fashion of wrestling isn't anything like them. They're better than them, and that Finn should find himself a partner for their tag match tonight. Well, luckily for Finn, he's right next to his club members, so he's got tag partners. So it's Finn Balor and Carl Anderson versus the Revival. Scott Dawson is in control with a lot of punches to Carl, but Carl eventually starts picking up momentum and does a hip toss to sway it back into his side. Dash Wilder kind of jumps in to try and cause a problem, but Finn takes him out and throws him outside. And that's that. We cut to Finn getting into the ring, and now Dawson is kind of working over Finn, slowing him down, and Finn is having some trouble. Eventually, he actually tags in Carl, and Carl is hot. Carl is like, man, it's like he's in the G1 or something, or like he's participated and even gotten to the finals once before. But I digress. Either way, he is going all out and taking out Dawson with strikes and moves and kicks. He eventually gets him in the corner, kicks him in the face, then does a spine buster for a good 2. Dash Wilder gets tagged in. Carl tags in Finn, and Carl dispenses Dash Wilder outside of the ring and does a somersault plancha over the top rope. Inside the ring, Finn hits a sling blade to Dawson and then a coup de grace for the pinfall victory. It was very nice. It was cool. This wasn't on the Hulu version, which if anyone watches this knows, I watch Hulu, and then I watch the matches that were not on Hulu on YouTube. So there might be a portion of it that I'm missing. But I know for a fact from what I saw that Finn Balor and Carl Anderson were elated to be tagging with each other. I'm pretty sure they never thought they would be in the WWE, much less together, much less tagging in some sort of a fashion, and it worked out very well. Their synergy is obviously top tier. Carl Anderson is one of the sleepers of the division there. He is very, very good in the ring. And allowing him to kind of show a little bit more of his offense was great. I'm hopeful that they let him do more later on. Backstage, we have Sasha Banks rewatching her match last week with Asuka, and Bayley comes out and says that Sasha has been rewatched that match about 20 times now. She tells her and Bayley tells her to stop being so hard on herself. Sasha says being hard on herself is what makes her a better competitor. And she says that while she lost to Asuka, she knows that she can beat her. And if she's in the Elimination Chamber, she plans to win and face Asuka at WrestleMania. Right behind me is Tommy, because he's a jerk. Bayley asked for any pointers to kind of help her out in facing Asuka tonight. And Sasha says that she's going to hold on to her tricks because, well, I'm Sasha and I'm a boss. Let's not ever talk about that. Sasha adds that she also doesn't think that Bayley can beat Asuka. Bayley takes a little bit of offense because she should. And Bayley says that she knows she can beat Sasha. And if Sasha thinks that she can beat Asuka, so can Bayley. That was very good. It shows Bayley that's not a child. Bayley is always presented as, well, I'm just happiness and positivity, and nothing brings me down, and I'm so great and happy and blah, 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 and sunshine and rainbows and gumdrops. I've never kissed a boy is how the creative kind of puts her. And then she kind of gets beat, and then you're like, well, she's a kid, so yeah. And Sasha's showing this nice kind of anger and heel mentality. I like it. I hope that it culminates in some sort of feud with her and Bayley, especially at WrestleMania, because if you watched NXT, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago, they had one of the best matches ever. And these women can tear the house down, build it back up, put some new chandelier and lighting in there, kind of reframe the walls, and show you what they got. They just need that platform to show you. So, after that, we have a 205 Live match, the only one that's on the card, of Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali versus Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Drake, so I didn't have a show last week, so on last week's 205 Live, Drake Maverick has been appointed the new first general manager of 205 Live. A whole bunch of kerfuffle stuff has happened in the past 2 weeks, and basically, to keep it short and simple for anyone who is first watching this, originally the champion was Enzo Amore. They stripped him of the title due to reasons that I will talk about on a separate segment. Basically, he had police allegations and charges put on him. They stripped him of the title and terminated him. In that time, they had not that many competitors in 205 Live and not really direction other than with Enzo Amore, so they decided to opt for a 16-man tournament. So they had the competitors face off last week of Cedric Alexander versus Grandmaster of the League, which Cedric Alexander came out on top, and TJP versus Tyler Bate, which TJP came out on top. Great matches, but the tournament is looking fan-freaking-tastic. And Drake Maverick is really, really putting up a whole bunch of life and passion into the show. Highly go out of your way to watch 205 Live. I said that before anyways, but now there's a nice little scent of amazement and pop and fun that's coming along. And I think it's going great for the 205 Live direction. And the tournament will culminate at WrestleMania this year. That was Marvel. She's trying to let her voice be known. She's trying to be on the podcast herself. Anywho, back in the ring to Raw last night. Tony Nese and Drew Gulak are in control with nice tagging. Alexander tags in Ali, and he picks up the pace. Lands a beautiful spinning DDT on Gulak for 2. Alexander throws Tony Nese to the outside and does a suicide somersault plancha to Tony Nese. Back inside the ring, Ali is about to do a top rope move to Gulak, but Gulak counters him off. Ali takes that time to kind of roll to Alexander and tag him in, who hits a lumbar check on Gulak, which looks freaking fantastic. And that's it. That's history. Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali get the pinfall victory over Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. While I will say, and I'll say it over and over again, that Tony Nese and Drew Gulak and most of the 205 Live heel competitors, unless you're champion, really are kind of pointless. It's still a great match, great pace, and it's still Cedric gets a lot of reaction, and his moves are great. Mustafa Ali is gonna be something big soon. He seems so relatable and so great and such a nice human being, but also just such a supreme athlete. Drew Gulak is one of the funniest and best things, and I'm really hopeful for him in the tournament. And Tony Nese improves all the time. Excuse me. So now we're at a promo segment with Kurt Angle comes out to talk about the women's division. He says that he's very proud that Asuka won the first women's Royal Rumble, but he's also proud to announce that there will be a first ever women's Elimination Chamber match where Alexa Bliss will be defending her title. Kurt Angle says the competitors that are competing in the match are Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sonya Deville, and Sasha Banks. Kurt thankfully stands out and states that people notice that Nia Jax is not in the ranking, and why is she not in the match? Because, well, she's very dominant and she does a lot of dominant things in the show. Well, he explains that Nia Jax will actually be competing in a match at Elimination Chamber against Asuka, where if Nia Jax wins, she will be automatically placed into the match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's Championship. There has yet to be a conclusive answer to which championship Asuka will face, but if Nia wins, she will be going against Alexa Bliss regardless of if Asuka agrees to face Bliss at WrestleMania or not. Out comes Alexa Bliss shortly after Kurt makes that announcement, and Alexa Bliss is very upset. She says that Kurt is wrong and unjust. Bliss says that the expectation of the men and the women should be the same, and that's how management says, which Kurt agrees to. She says that why does she have to defend her title while the men's Elimination Chamber match doesn't have to be defended at all? All Brock has to do is just sit at home and watch. She asks, why is Brock Lesnar allowed to sit at home and not defend his title? Says, is it because she is just a woman? Well, now Kurt says that Brock defended his title last month at the Royal Rumble, while Bliss hasn't defended her title since October in TLC. He says that which Alexa says that's Kurt's fault. She says that he values Lesnar more than her and that Kurt is sexist. Kurt gets a little flustered by this, but Kurt says that he never tried to compare the two, but he will ask the audience for their input as to what they should do with the women's title at Elimination Chamber, which then the crowd is, I'm pretty sure what the creative wanted was the crowd to be unanimously saying yes, yes, yes to Alexa defending the title at Elimination Chamber. But it was a very 50-50 shot of yes and no's, which Kurt just played off, well, I just hear yeses, so that's your answer. Alexa Bliss is upset, and she says that she demands respect because she is the women's champion, and she kind of storms off, which then Kurt asks again, well, what do you think, crowd? Do you think that she should be defending her title at Elimination Chamber? And once again, it's a 50-50. I think Kurt was trying to get a unanimous yes chant, and it did not happen. It was a very good promo. A lot of people are raving that it is one of Alexa Bliss's greatest promos in the world. It was clear that Alexa Bliss was kind of trying to weasel her way out of defending her title again, but Kurt was very good and correct in saying that she hasn't defended her title in months, and from my memory serves me right, there's a 30-day compete clause, and if you don't defend your title for 30 days, you automatically lose it. So if that's the case, because they did it to Naomi, they did it to, I want to say, Daniel Bryan before the whole injury thing, they did it to a lot of people before, but, you know, we pick and choose our rules to go by. If you ever picked up the WWE Rule Handbook, which one day I seriously want to get, I'm sure that there are rules that, you know, we pick and choose. The commentators tell us that there will be a triple threat match later tonight to determine who will be the last person to enter into the Elimination Chamber. John Cena does a quick phone promo. I really didn't hear because I wasn't paying attention, but yeah, John Cena's in it, and it's going to be John Cena versus Braun Strowman versus Elias, and that is our main event for tonight. After that, we have the Asuka versus Bayley match. The both of them start off very even, and the announcers talk about how they had a feud in NXT, and that it really culminated into something great and was the crowning of Asuka in the first place. Asuka gets control with a hip toss and some kicks to the spine, but Bayley throws Asuka over the top rope and follows up with a through the middle rope Hurricane Rana. Bayley is showing a lot more aggression and a lot more of her moves, and it looks real nice. Asuka gets back in control when Bayley tries to jump inside with a hip attack, but Asuka gets thrown out into the barricade. Back from commercial break, and Bayley has Asuka in the ropes, but Asuka attempts to lock in the Asuka lock. Bayley gets out and continuously keeps trying to do a roll up on Asuka, but it doesn't work. Eventually, she just pushes Asuka to the outside of the ring and tries to do some sort of move from the apron to the outside of the ring, but Asuka just knees her, just puts up her knee and knees her right in the face, throws Bayley back into the ring, tries to get a pin, but obviously Bayley kicks out. They kind of do some pin exchanges, but Asuka's mostly trying to go for a submission. Bayley keeps getting out of said submission attempts with a pinfall attempt, and one of them is super close, which Asuka kicks out of at like 2.5. And Asuka is just visibly upset. So now Bayley thinks she has the momentum on her side, runs at Asuka. Asuka does a armbar, and Bayley is in no way, shape, or form able to compete anymore. So she taps out, and Asuka gets the victory. Very good match. I know for a fact Asuka and Bayley can go even further, but either way, this showing was very good. Not as good as Sasha Banks versus Asuka last week, but still good. Highly recommend to check it out. Asuka is doing fantastic since winning the Royal Rumble. There's the mystique of us not knowing where she's going to go or what she's going to do. There's the intensity of her in-ring style. There's the looming ability of her that is her undefeated streak of almost 2 years, and that these competitors are stepping up to Asuka to try and unseat her, and the announcers are constantly talking about it, and they should, because it's very important. And thus, Asuka's looking better by fighting these top tier women's competitors, and the competitors that are facing Asuka are looking even better as well. And I'm hopeful that they use this opportunity to give the women more direction than what they did in 2017, because all it was constantly the women bickering among each other for, hey, I don't like you. Hey, I don't like you either. Bet. So yeah, after the match, Asuka extends her hand out for a handshake, and Bayley shakes Asuka's hand. The crowd, for some reason, isn't really on board with that, and they kind of boo. But they eventually do warm up, and yeah, that's the end of that. The Bar have a promo video where they are saying that they're happy to face them again, and that they will beat Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan because they've done it before and they'll do it again. And then they say their catchphrase of that is just not because they set the bar, they are the bar. That was a little burp. So Miz is out for a promo segment. He says that he does the standard "my hands go up, your mouth goes shut" thing because they're all acting like children, and he needs to prepare for it as a father. Miz tells the people to go outside and look at the sky because the constellation will look like this as he holds the IC title up. He says that 2018 is the year of the Miz, and says that if you don't like this astrology, just hear the hard facts. He says that he beat Roman Reigns at Raw 25 anniversary to win back his IC title, and that is an accomplishment in and of itself, much less being a top-tier competitor in Roman Reigns. And then the following week, he defeated Roman again to retain his title. He says he couldn't contend with the overwhelming tide known as The Miz. Says that the Eagles watched a video of Miz's last match that motivated them to win the Super Bowl overall. And he says that that is the best yet to come. Says he's going to qualify for Elimination Chamber and then face Brock Lesnar, complete with a Paul Heyman impersonation. and win the WWE title in time for his WWE Universal title in time for his baby girl being born. And Miz plugs his TV show that's coming to the USA Network, and that he's going to be a IC title and Universal title holder at the same time when his daughter is born. Out comes Apollo Crews, and now we have The Miz versus Apollo Crews for a qualifying match into the Elimination Chamber. Very good match. Good match. I'm in between very good and good. It's good, but it's it's good. Apollo really doesn't have a lot of momentum on him. He has won 2 tag team matches against The Bar, so I think that's what they're using to qualify him for his match against The Miz and for the possibility in the Elimination Chamber. But nonetheless, they have a pretty good match, and Apollo has been showing great athleticism and ability in the ring, and that's what's going to get you over. While everyone is all about these characters of a dead guy and all this hootenanny, just be good. Just be a good competitor, and that's going to get you over. By the way, Miz and Crews exchange pin attempts. Miz tried for a top rope axe handle, but Crews lands a drop kick as Miz is falling down, and it hits him flush straight in the face. Crews lifts up Miz and does a standing moonsault, but Miz gets his knees up and gets a close 2 count on Apollo. Miz slows down the pace with a headlock. Crews evens the playing field with a running single leg drop kick to take down the Miz. Crews gains back momentum with his comeback sequence of a shoulder block and I think a clothesline and then a jumping clothesline. He does a kip up and eventually hits an enziguri to Miz for a very close 2 count. You can hear the crowd getting behind Crews with a very small Apollo chant, thus showing that Apollo's in-ring capabilities are showing out finally. Miz tries for a running clothesline in the corner, but Crews just simply catches him like a kid and lifts him up, takes him down to the mat, does a standing moonsault, then does a standing shooting star press. Crowd is very shocked, and so is the commentators. Miz manages to get out of the pin attempt after that and tries to hit the skull-crushing finale on Crews, but Crews verses it into a roll-up at the last minute for a very close to. Crews has a lot of momentum on his side, and there's plenty of times where you think he's going to win. Miz follows up, but Crews puts him in the corner turnbuckle and tries to follow up with some sort of a strike, but instead, while Crews is trying to strike Miz places Crews' crotch first on the top rope. He's trying to kind of do like an enziguri. Miz catches him and lifts him up and lands him on the crotch of the rope. So he falls down, Miz picks him up, hits the skull-crushing finale, and gets the 1-2-3 victory to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Once again, that was Marvel trying to let her voice be known. Not very good. Just a good match overall. Apollo, as I said, has been showing great in-ring capabilities, which is finally showing out. You can see, obviously, the crowd is starting to get behind him with an Apollo chant. He just kind of needs some character and some direction, some sort of desire that he wants to do. And Miz is Miz. He's hitting out of battlefield left and right, back and forth. He's the Miz. He's very good at what he does. We go backstage and we see Seth Rollins about to walk out to the ring, and he stops because he sees Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan, and a medical staff. And Kurt Angle tells Jason Jordan to tell Seth, and Jason Jordan explains that he just saw the medical staff, and they said while he was stretching and doing some preparing for his match, he felt something tweak in his body, mostly his neck, and that he's not going to be able to compete tonight. And Seth is really upset. He told him that he could do it and that now he's backing out. How was he supposed to go on with the match? He asked Kurt what they're supposed to do, and Kurt says, well, since you don't have a partner, it looks like we're just going to have to cancel the match. Seth is livid now. He's very upset and trying to just find something, and he turns to the left, and there's Roman Reigns standing. Roman just stares at him like, you down to clown? And Seth's like, I'm down to clown. Kurt, you good if we clown? And Kurt just sounds like this old man who's just like, you get 'em, kids, with, yeah. He doesn't say yeah, but he nods his head. And now that takes us to the match of the Shield of Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns versus The Bar of Sheamus and Cesaro for the Raw Tag Team titles. This is the second week in a row where Sheamus and Cesaro have to defend their tag team titles, both times on Raw. Either way, Rollins in control with the quickness and throws off Sheamus a lot. Sheamus is trying to keep up with him, but he just can't, and Rollins is just bouncing off of everywhere. Eventually, Cesaro gets tagged in, and Cesaro is having trouble keeping up with Rollins as well. Reigns gets tagged in and has a lot of control as well. He's about to do the Superman punch, but Rollins sees Sheamus stirring outside, so he goes out and hits a suicide dive / tope suicida to Sheamus. But wait, Sheamus catches him and does an Irish curse backbreaker to Rollins. During all that commotion, Reigns is still kind of loading up, and he got distracted, so Cesaro comes in and takes him out with a good old European uppercut. Now we're back from commercial break, and 1 second. That distracts Reigns long enough. Back from commercial break, the Bar going a lot of frequent tags and tag team maneuvers on Reigns. Eventually, they even hit their tag team finisher, which is like a white noise into a foot stomp. But Reigns, which normally takes out a person, but Reigns isn't a normal person, so he kicks out at 2. Reigns manages to slow down Cesaro and head to his corner to tag Rollins, but Sheamus knocks Rollins out onto the floor and takes him out. And Rollins is just taking a powder for him. A bit of time, actually. Out comes Jason Jordan, which the crowd is booing the crap of. And Jordan helps Rollins up, but Rollins and Reigns are both kind of like, what the heck are you doing here? Get out of here. Rollins gets back onto the ring apron, and Reigns manages to tag in Rollins, who turns the pace up into his favor and turns the building on fire. This is Raw was at Iowa, which is Seth Rollins' home state, and they are big fans of Seth Rollins because those fire pants on his legs definitely, like when you put like stripes on your clothes so it makes you faster, so the fire makes you more intense. That fire made him way more intense. He was doing everything. Throwing Cesaro outside of the ring, landing on Sheamus, doing a tope suicida onto Sheamus, and then Cesaro pushing Cesaro back in the ring, doing a hurricane DDT from the middle rope into a Falcon Arrow. Crowd is going nuts, and so is Seth Rollins in that fashion. Cesaro tries to get momentum back on his side, but Jason Jordan clips his leg, which then Reigns is like, what the heck are you doing? You're going to get us in trouble. Get out of here. So Jason Jordan starts to walk away. Inside the ring, Rollins is about to deliver his ripcord knee, and he does actually to Cesaro. And while he's about to get the pin attempt, Sheamus breaks it up. The Bar kind of just roll out of the ring and they're like, screw this, we'll take our titles and we'll leave. And Jason Jordan stops him on the way of their leaving, and sorry to be stumbling. They're jawing at each other, and Cesaro throws a punch, which Jason Jordan catches and punches Cesaro back. Then he punches Sheamus, and that's a disqualification in the favor of the Bar. So the Bar retain their titles, not just because it's due to disqualification, but also because that's on the Shield side. Excuse me, it's so early. Right now it's 6:30. So now it's Roman and Seth are visibly upset, and they're just not having it with Jason Jordan. Jordan's just like, what's going on? Good match. You can obviously expect from those 4 competitors that they're gonna just show it, but Rollins in particular had so much fire and passion in him. I'm sorry I keep making these fire jokes, but I hate those pants. Either way, it was a good match. They're obviously going to do something. Actually, last night they reported that Jason Jordan is going through neck surgery. I wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope he's doing well in some sort of a fashion. It's very unfortunate that this has happened to him, and I hope that he does well. I'm enjoying a lot of Jason Jordan and the storyline, and I really, really, really hope that he's back in some sort of time or is in some sort of a capacity, because it is a very good story that they're moving along very well. We go to a phone video with Braun Strowman, where he's basically saying that it doesn't matter who he's facing tonight. He's going to beat John Cena and Elias. He's going to win at Elimination Chamber. He's going to go to WrestleMania and beat Brock Lesnar like he know he will. And tonight they better watch out, because they go get these hands. So now we're back to another backstage segment with Rollins yelling at Jason Jordan for costing him and Roman the match. He says that Jordan is selfish and that it's always about I and he and him and not about us as a team. Kurt Angle comes out of nowhere and tries to defuse the situation. He tells Rollins that his son is legitimately hurt, to which Rollins says, I wish that I was the one that injured him. And he just walks away, which Jordan is like, he can't talk to me that way. While Kurt Angle is basically saying, go home, Jordan. You're injured. You shouldn't be here in the first place. Just go home. And Jason Jordan's kind of like, but Dad, which Kurt Angle is more, I need you to go home. And I'm not yelling because I'm not yelling about a stupid wrestling segment as well as Cass is asleep right now. And Jordan's just like, well, okay. Kicks rocks and walks home. I imagine that he walked all the way home from the arena. We're almost done with Raw. So now we have Nia Jax versus the Jobber. The Jobber is visibly upset. By the way, the Jobber's name is Vanessa Floyd. The Jobber is visibly upset and that she's terrified of Nia. Nia's kind of just toying with her, which my brain's just like, get it over with, Nia. Just beat her. Eventually she does. She does a shoulder block and hits a running leg drop and gets the pinfall on her. It's like in a minute at best. In a minute because she just messed with the girl. Renee Young gets into the ring and interviews Nia about after the match. And Nia says that she is the only woman in the back that is not afraid of Asuka. Jax says that she's going to beat Asuka so bad that she's going to need to wear that mask permanently. And when she says that, while Asuka calls herself the Empress of Tomorrow, when she's through with her, she's going to be known as the Empress of Yesterday. Nia Jax ain't winning. Whatever. It's nice that they're doing something else with the women, but yeah, that's that. Another women's match is Mickie James versus Sonya Deville, two women that are a part of the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Deville is kind of talking smack to Mickie, so Mickie just slaps the crap out of Deville, slaps her really hard, and the crowd are like aghast. The commentators are constantly talking about that they believe that the slap actually broke Deville's nose, which is showing because Deville is stumbling and having trouble moving. A lot. So they kind of just do an exchange, and eventually Mickie just rolls up Deville out of nowhere and gets the pinfall. I say this because, one, this was not on the Hulu version. Two, it was only like 3 minutes. The whole match was shown on their YouTube version, and that was it. Mickie James just rolls up Sonya Deville, and she gets the pinfall. Right after the match, ringside is the rest of Absolution of Paige and Mandy Rose, and they go into ringside, and Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville attack Mickie James while Paige is just kind of screaming. And Mickie James is just kind of on the ground near the ropes trying to defend herself, and out comes Alexa Bliss to pull Mickie James out and carry her back up the ramp. When Mickie finally gets her bearing, she realizes that Alexa is what helped her, and she's just like, girl, what you be doing? So it's nice that they're doing another storyline, and that it's very clear that Alexa doesn't have any friends other than Nia, and that she's trying to get more friends to back her up in the Women's Elimination Chamber match. We'll see how that goes, and it's funny that it's Mickie James because she, storyline-wise, is the one that brought Mickie James back to Raw, back to wrestling, when she brought her back to SmackDown Live in the whole La Senorita storyline or whatever. Now we have an Elias song where Elias says that the town is a no-name town and usually flies over it for anything better. He says that he'll win Elimination Chamber. Elias sings that soon the entire WWE will know that after he beat Brock Lesnar, that WWE stands for a walk with Elias. Hilarious and great. He sings a song about how the other competitors in this match suck. He says that he doesn't think that Braun is a monster and that he smashed his guitar on John Cena the previous week. He sings a little more, and then John Cena music plays. So now it's Elias versus John Cena versus Braun Strowman to determine who will enter into the Elimination Chamber. Elias immediately leaves the ring when the bell rings, and he just lets Braun Strowman and John Cena battle it out. But Braun Strowman is clearly the one in control. John Cena is older and just not as strong as Braun, and Braun is just beating the crap out of Cena. Eventually, we go to commercial break, and Braun is about to get a pinfall on Cena, but Elias finally, and they say this, gets into the ring for the first time since the match started. And Braun is visibly upset. He chases Elias, and Elias runs around the ring, gets back inside of the ring, and John Cena catches him to try and do the attitude adjustment. But Braun, once again, is just too big and too strong, gets out, and dispenses John Cena to the outside of the ring. Out comes Elias to attack Strowman from behind, and they both team up now, John Cena and Elias, and they have kind of like a semi-feud. John Cena picks up the steps and hits it into Braun's face. Elias hits the guitar on Braun's back. John Cena lifts up Elias and does the attitude adjustment onto the ring steps, which basically immobilizes Braun for a bit of the match. And now Elias and John Cena get back in the ring, and Elias immediately attacks Cena. He lifts him up for kind of like a where is it? A like spin out side slam backbreaker onto the knee. And then wears down Cena with the headlock. Cena gets back momentum with this Cena comeback with the shoulder block, spin out, powerbomb, whatever thing. But he's moving really sheepishly, really tired. And he's about to go for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Elias moves out of the way. Right when Cena's coming back, Strowman picks him up and does a running power slam. He sees Elias and is about to do the same to him, but Elias wiggles out, pushes Strowman to the outside, and pins Cena to win the main event of Raw and be the last person to enter in through the pods in the Elimination Chamber is Elias. And that is befuddling to me, because this guy who just comes out every time to sing a song on his guitar just not only beat John Cena, the franchise player of the WWE, and Braun Strowman, the next big thing and the rising star of the WWE, all in one night on a Raw in the main event. Will it lead to something? Doubtful. But I'm sure that that's still pivotal. Like, that is super important for the guy, and it's great. And I mean, they're pushing a new star, and they're giving him a lot of momentum and a lot of attention, and it's great. Immediately after the match, though, Braun Strowman isn't having none of that, and he's not great about it, so he just repeatedly running power slams both Cena and Elias. I want to say like 2 to 3 times each, and the crowd loves it. Braun also has this big red welt on his chest, a gash on his arm, and like a cut on his face. He looks like a big warrior, but he's not even budged by it. Excuse me. And that ends Raw. Good Raw, as I've said before multiple times. This has been a very, very, very good Raw week after week since Survivor Series, and I highly recommend you go out of your way to check it out. It is pretty dang good. I'm gonna probably debut a system to give what I think for shows, like if it's good, go out of your way, etc., etc. This one was a good show. If you got nothing else to do, go check out this Raw. So now we go into SmackDown Live on February 6th of 2018, and right out of the gate, it tells us that the main event is going to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn due to Daniel Bryan last week setting up a match that will determine that whoever wins the match will go on to face AJ Styles at Fastlane for the WWE title. Now we're back to the show, and inside of the ring is Shane McMahon already. So you're about to get your standard 15 to 20 minute promo between Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, and how much they don't like each other. How much they don't trust each other. And basically that's it. Shane talks about how they're the land of opportunity, and they try and give every superstar the attention that the fans want them to have, and that they try and do it all the time, and that he respects Daniel Bryan. And out comes Daniel Bryan. Shane says that he thinks that Daniel Bryan is giving the opportunities that the fans want for separate people to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and particularly multiple times, even though the WWE Universe doesn't want it. By WWE Universe, he means himself, because he's a selfish prick. Anywho, he accuses Daniel Bryan of living vicariously through Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which kind of like, ooh, because Daniel Bryan can't wrestle anymore, so they think that, Shane thinks that they are living vicariously through the two competitors. AJ Styles comes out. He says, "Screw you both. I'm tired of you both constantly making everything about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I don't care. I'm just going to defend my title. I'm going to beat whoever I have to face at Fastlane, and I'm going to go and defend my title at WrestleMania. Regardless, y'all got to get your stuff together. I'm the champ. AJ walks away. We go backstage, and we see AJ walking around. And Shinsuke Nakamura's just there. He's just like, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania, and walks away. I love it. I love that AJ is trying to just stop this childlike feud between Shane and Daniel, because it's child. I don't like what you're doing because you're liking people that I don't like. Well, I like those people. Or I'm just actually being basically fair because you just want to screw them every time because of your feud previously, where originally The Undertaker threw you off of a freaking cage and your dad literally said he's going to disown you, write you out of the will. But you're mad about these two random dudes who just basically are just trying to get an opportunity. I don't know why I was stumbling there. And AJ Styles is like, bump that. I'm the champ. I don't care who I have to fight. I'm the best. And then also Shinsuke just looming in the back of, I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. Great. First match is Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. I'm not going to take a lot of time with this because I honestly do not like Liv Morgan in the first place for her athleticism. She's not good, really, in my opinion. She tries really hard, but it just isn't clicking right now, nor was it in NXT, hence why she wasn't on TV all the time, and when she was losing all the time. Anywho, Charlotte's in control for most of the match. Anytime that Liv Morgan does get any offense, it's because it's during the commercial break, and most of the time it's a headlock, like a double arm chokehold. And other than that, Charlotte just kind of dispenses her. The Riot Squad is also with Liv Morgan, and they try to get involved, but basically Charlotte says nope, deals with them, and they try and get Liv Morgan out. The ref kicks them out of the ring, kicks them out of ringside, which the crowd freaking loses it for some reason. Charlotte hits her with the big boot, locks in the figure eight, and gets the submission on Liv Morgan victory. After the match, Charlotte gets out of the ring and tells the commentators that's 1 down, 2 to go. So it looks like Charlotte's goal is to just exterminate the Riot Squad, which she freaking should, because they are darn sure pointless, and they are just a group of random girls hanging out. I understand bringing them up because of the women's Royal Rumble match is completely what they were doing, but they have never ever had any momentum or backing on their side whatsoever. So if you're not going to give me anything to make me believe that these women are credible, just get it over with. Renee Young is backstage and is knocking on Kevin Owens' door for an interview, and Owens comes out and Renee asks if the friendship with Sami Zayn will affect their match tonight, which Owens says that's up to another person to decide, because Sami Zayn's just going to have to deal with losing to Kevin Owens again. Great. Owens being stern as always, and very good. Nice to have him do a promo, and nice to have him have confidence in himself. So we're back in the ring, and we have the Bludgeon Brothers versus two jobbers. They do not tell us these jobbers' names, but either way, they destroy them. Right out of the gate, Luke Harper hits him with a running drop kick, does an exploder suplex. The other guy tries to run away. Eric Rowan hits him, brings him back into the ring. They do a double power bomb to the first jobber who tried to run away, and then they do their double crucifix slam onto the other jobber and get the pinfall victory. Sorry if that was too fast. It was just, that's the match. That was how it was, too fast. It's probably like a minute, and that was just because the guy ran away. Immediately after the match, though, the Bludgeon Brothers are kind of staring out, and then the Usos come out, and they have a nice kind of stare down of we the best tag team versus we're the next best tag team. It's very great. I'm highly looking forward to these two teams clashing. I remember seeing them at I want to say Extreme Rules here in Tampa when Christian won the World Heavyweight title from Alberto Del Rio, and they had like a 2 out of 3 falls match, the Usos versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. If they can keep that magic again, it's going to be great. The Usos do a Uso Penitentiary kind of promo, and a lot of their promos lately have been a lot more face-like about how through their hard times they struggles, they coming out on top no matter what. They are going to be great. Nothing's going to keep them down. They went from this to that. They went from the old Usos of face paint and doing the hockey versus the Usos who are just here to do business and show that they are the best. And I love it. They say their catchphrase of feel your spine tingling. You look behind your back, you got goosebumps. That's not paranoia. That's the Usos. And man, the Usos won. Better freaking have a match on the main WrestleMania card, because if they don't have it, that's just blasphemy. 2, Usos are showing that they are the #1 tag team in WWE and almost in all of wrestling. To me, in all of wrestling. I love all sorts of wrestling. I even watch other teams. Roppongi 3K is great. The Young Bucks are good. I like the Chosen Bros of Matt Riddle and what the heck is his name? Jeff Cobb. But the Usos are week after week after week after week showing that they are the best. And I love it. They also have the debut of the SmackDown Live Top 10 list. If you weren't paying attention or heard, now on SmackDown they are having a top 10 list of the competitors choosing who they think are the top 10 wrestlers or people in the company. Either way, it's number 10, Ty Dillinger, number 9, Randy Orton, number 8, Becky Lynch, number 7, The Usos, number 6, The New Day, number 5, Bobby Roode, number 4, Naomi, number 3, Shinsuke Nakamura, number 2, Charlotte Flair, number 1, AJ Styles. Does it have any point? No. It really doesn't do anything. And if anything, it just shows exactly what the rankings are in the WWE of these individuals. Like, we already know AJ Styles is number 1. He's a champ, and he's constantly showing that he's great. I don't know why Ty Dillinger is number 10, because he's barely on there, if anything, and I hate the guy. Baron Corbin should be number 10, because he's always there and always doing something, but I digress. Either way, that's that. Rusev Day phone promo with Aiden English singing about how great Rusev is, and that Rusev is another animal, and that he's going to beat Bob Roode tonight for the United States title. Back inside of the arena, Aiden English sings out sings out Rusev, and now it's Rusev versus Bobby Roode for the United States title match. First off, this match had 2 commercials, so they gave this match a lot of time. Second off, it was a good match. It was a very good match. Rusev is still in his A game. Like, I thought that Rusev was still kind of slacking a lot lately, but man, it's because they just haven't given him time and told him what to do, because like, he was giving out strong roundhouse kicks, super kicks, fall-away slams, all sorts of stuff. And Bobby Roode was selling it and also giving out his own offense, looking great. Aiden English only got involved, I want to say, twice, but it was mostly just a match between the two of them, and I loved it. Eventually, Rusev gets a lot of control with himself, and he's about to try and get the accolade, but every time he does, Bobby Roode keeps getting out, and while Rusev is about to come in for kind of like a spearish move, Bobby gets him for the glorious DDT and hits him with it and pins him for the victory. Bobby Roode has retained his United States title, and he's celebrating, and RKO out of nowhere. Randy Orton came out of nowhere. He flew from like the heavens and just hit Bobby Roode with an RKO. It was great. It was beautiful. It was super quick. It was nice, and it now looks like it's going to be Bobby Roode versus Randy Orton the next feud. It's nice. Randy Orton has, I don't think, ever won the United States title, and it gives Roode a very good competitor, also another person that's exactly like him, to fight against. So I think that's a good direction. I don't know what they're going to do with Rusev, but he is over as heck. And Aiden English is the perfect hype man for him, and I love it. We now have a phone promo backstage of American Beta, which is Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable talking about how they think the other tag teams are a joke, and that they're going to basically show it tonight. So they face the Ascension, and they win because it's the Ascension. I don't think the Ascension have won a match on the WWE main roster. They won, I think, a gauntlet match randomly on SmackDown. Before that, I think they haven't won a match in about 4 years, maybe even 5, when they first debuted. The Ascension showed a little bit more fire than they normally do, but American Beta are just American Beta. Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, you know that they're a top tier talent. They just aren't really doing anything. They lost their match against the Usos at the Royal Rumble, and 2 falls out of 2 out of 3 falls. They did not get a single fall, which makes them look like jokes, but they still are great, and no one can discredit that. So they beat the Ascension because duh. We only got a few more minutes. I'm going to wrap it up, and thankfully it's because the final match is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Before the match starts, Sami Zayn is interviewed by Renee Young right before he runs outside. And he talks about how Kevin Owens has already gotten his chance to be a top-tier champion in the Universal title. He's won multiple belts. He's done this. But now it is Sami Zayn's time. And while they've done this before, and it's not going to mess up their friendship. Sami Zayn's going to win. He's going to go to Fastlane and beat AJ Styles, and he's going to main event at WrestleMania. He knows that Kevin Owens will do anything he possibly can to main event WrestleMania, but so will Sami. So now it's Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles is on commentary. A lot of the first half of the match, they're pretty even with hip tosses, and they keep jawing at each other and wiping at each other. But down the line, Sami Zayn just kicks it into another gear and just takes down Owens and starts wailing at him with punches, which is great. Sami Zayn is showing a lot of offense and showing a lot of fire. And the crowd are buying into it because now they are very much invested in both competitors. So now we're back from commercial break, and they both are still pretty even. They strike hard with big boots to each other, which are just wailing at them. And Kevin Owens falls into a clothesline, which turns Sami Zayn inside out. Kevin Owens picks up Sami Zayn and does an elevated neckbreaker onto the knee for a very close 2 count. And while Sami Zayn kind of drags himself to the corner, Kevin Owens tries for a cannonball swanton, but Zayn moves, slaps him over the chest, runs it with his hands locked, and does a fantastic, beautiful top rope DDT. It gets a super close 2 count. Zayn tried to do a move from the top rope, but Owens pushes Zayn off and tries for a swanton bomb, but Zayn gets his knees up. Owens rolls out to the outside of the ring, and Owens rolls outside, and Zayn follows through with through the ropes DDT onto Kevin Owens. He hasn't done that in a long time. Zayn throws Owens back in the ring, and he's running at Owens, but Owens hits him with a super kick and does a frog splash for once again another 2 counts. Owens says that he's the one that wins the titles, that he is the one better than Sami, that he is better than Sami. He's going to win tonight and win more titles. Zayn gets pissed off, gets up, slaps Owens in the face, and does a sleeper suplex, and then immediately hits a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. Owens takes that opportunity to roll outside the ring, and Sami Zayn follows him. And Sami Zayn starts jawing at AJ Styles, so AJ Styles gets angry and whacks Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which then causes a disqualification in the favor of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. So then Daniel Bryan comes out to announce that at Fastlane is going to be a triple threat match for the WWE title of Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight title. I'm all in. It is great. I'm super happy about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Sami Zayn showed that charisma and fire that I always adore with him, and that babyface moveset was back, and the crowd was buying into it a lot more than they ever have been. Kevin Owens is Kevin Owens. He's great. He's showing his offense like he always is. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are two beings that are destined to fight each other constantly and will always do great. So Daniel Bryan, good on you. Good on you to do fair, unbiased judgment. I'm enjoying it. And just keep it up, man. You're doing great. You're right there on my couch. Anywho, SmackDown was good. It wasn't as good as Raw. I don't think so, but it was good. It was very enjoyable. They have storylines. They have directions for multiple wrestlers. Everything seemed to make sense except for the Ascension and American Beta thing. But either way, I highly enjoyed it. I enjoyed wrestling all overall this week. Now it's 205 Live in NXT for the remainder of the week. I've been your host, Micah. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment below of if you liked Raw SmackDown and who do you think is going to win at Elimination Chamber or at Fastlane or both. You can tweet at me by tweeting at Micah Kool-Aid. Once again, I'm Micah. at Micah Kool-Aid. This has been the WrestleTrain Express. Leave me a thumbs up, ring-a-ding-ding that bell, and I'm out. So 2 claps, a 2 sweet, and I'm out of here.